Okay, so today we're going to run through annotating a kind of a practice star passage. And so this is what, if I were taking the star test, this is kind of how I would attack it. This is a passage that I haven't read yet. It came with some textbook materials that we got. So this is, for me, a first read. So this is very much like when you open up the STAR test and here's your first passage. So how would I attack this? What would I do? So the first thing I do on a test like the STAR test, when I have plenty of time, is I will go and look through the questions. So there's a conflict question. Quote at the end of paragraph 1 is important. So it's important to the excerpt. So I kind of annotate the questions just to see what they're going to be asking. Which of the words help the reader understand the meaning? So that's vocab. So I might need a dictionary for that one, although it is talking about in paragraph 6. But a lot of times it helps to look those words up even though they're in there. The last sentence of paragraph 6. Okay. So you always want to make sure you're looking in the right place. So I know now there's 2 questions about paragraph 6. I want to make sure that I read paragraph 6 very carefully. The summary of paragraphs 1 through 6. So it's not the whole passage, or I don't know. Maybe there's only 6. Nope, it's just the first page. So it's not a summary of the whole text. It's just a summary of paragraphs 1 through 6. The author explores the idea. Okay, through Joe's experience, we're going to explore an idea. Joe's tears, so we know Joe's going to cry over her lost hair. Okay. And then read the sentence. Imagery. So they're asking about the imagery in the sentence. The sentence is, Joe laughed and Meg sharply ordered her not to talk. Ooh, so Meg is kind of mean there. And then amiably promised to make her hair curl and fell asleep to dream of living in her castle in the air. Weird. Okay, so I don't really know. That's the last question, but I'm really confused right now. But that's because I haven't read the passage yet, so I need to read the passage. So, from Little Women, from tells me it's from a longer piece. Okay, so I know it is going to be part of like a novel or a longer text. Just because I've heard of this, Little Women is a movie, it's a book, so this is a piece of a book. Because I've heard of the book, I have some past experience with that. Now, I don't know that I've ever read this whole book. I've read excerpts from it, but I don't think I've read the whole thing. Okay. In Little Women, 4 sisters work hard to provide for each other and help their mother while their father serves in the Union Army during the Civil War. In this excerpt, Jo tells her family about something important that she has done for her father. Okay, so this is background. And I would usually be doing this with pencil in case I wanted to erase, but I'm doing it with the color just so you guys can see better. Okay, so that's a little bit of background. I know it keeps zooming, but you'll have your own copy, so you can kind of follow along. All right, so this is where we actually start the text. The short afternoon wore away. All other errands were done, and Meg and her mother busy at some necessary needlework. So that kind of gives me time period that the needlework was necessary. While Beth and Amy got tea, and Hannah finished her ironing with what she called a slap and a bang, but still Jo did not come. Okay, so we know it's afternoon, we know the time period, we know they're doing errands. Okay, and then there's all these sisters. So there's Beth, Amy, and Hannah, and then Jo. They began to get anxious, and Lori went off to find her, for no one knew what freak Jo might take into her head. Ooh, that's an interesting word. She missed her, however, and she came walking in with a very queer expression of countenance, for there was a mixture of fun and fear, satisfaction and regret in it, which puzzled the family as much as did the roll of bills she laid before her mother, saying with a little choke in her voice, "It's my contribution toward making father comfortable and bringing him home." Okay, so the she missed her confuses me a little bit. So it's who misses who. Lori went off to find Joe. So Lori misses Joe, however, and so Joe came walking in with a queer expression of countenance. That may be a vocab word I need to look up. For there was a mixture of fun and fear, satisfaction and regret. It is a weird mix, which puzzled the family as much as did the roll of bills. So she brings money. And that's the dialogue says, "That's my contribution toward making father comfortable and bringing him home." Now I know that the father is fighting in the Civil War. So she's got money to send, brings money home to send to Dad, because he's fighting off in the war, and she wants to make him comfortable. So maybe send him some money so that he could, wherever he is, he could buy some better food or new boots or something that he needs. "My dear, where did you get it?" $25. "Joe, I hope you haven't done anything rash." And rash is like hasty. I might have to look up synonyms for this. So, done anything without thinking. "No, it's mine, honestly. I didn't beg, borrow, or steal it. I earned it, and I don't think you'll blame me, for I only sold what was my own." So she sold something. As she spoke, Joe took off her bonnet, and a general outcry arose, for all of her abundant hair was cut short. "Your hair, your beautiful hair. Oh, Joe, how could you? You're one beauty. My dear girl, there was no need of this. She doesn't look like my Joe anymore, but I love her dearly for it." Okay, so punctuation is telling me a lot in this paragraph. There's one person talking, and then another person talking, and a third person talking, and a fourth person talking. Usually you would put each of those in a paragraph, but for some reason the author doesn't. And I think that is because the author wants us to read it like they're all talking at once. So she whips up her bonnet, and suddenly they're all talking at once with these exclamations. There's lots of exclamation points too, and questions. "Your hair, your beautiful hair," is what one person is saying, while someone else is saying, "Oh, Joe, how could you? You're one beauty." So you're beautiful. Why did you cut your hair? "My dear girl, there was no need for this." So somebody else is saying, "You didn't have to do this." And then finally, "She doesn't look like my Joe anymore, but I definitely love her for it." Okay, so now we're at paragraph 6. And from reading the questions, I know that this is an important passage. So I'm going to make sure I pay attention to this passage. As everyone exclaimed, and Beth hugged the cropped head tenderly, Joe assumed an indifferent air, which did not deceive anyone a particle. Okay, so it did not deceive. So if you're indifferent, and that may be a word that you have to look up, indifferent means you don't care. And it did not deceive anyone. Deceive means lie or pretend. So she really does care. But she's going to act like she doesn't. and said, rumpling up the brown bush and trying to look as if she liked it. So trying to look as if she doesn't like it. But she's pretending that she does. It doesn't affect the fate of the nation, so don't wail, Beth. Wail is cry. It will be good for my vanity. Vanity is like being conceited or full of yourself. Full of self. I was getting too proud of my wig. And we think of wig, she's just talking about her hair, but we think of wig as like fake hair, but she's just talking about like real hair. It will do my brains good to have that mop taken off. So maybe make her head lighter, I don't know. My head feels deliciously light and cool, and the barber said I could soon have a curly crop, which will be boyish, becoming, and easy to keep in order. I'm satisfied. Satisfied is not happy, but okay with it. So please take the money and let's have supper. So she's doing it for her dad. And she doesn't want all these people arguing about it. It's already done. Okay? So that is my annotating for the first page. I'm going to let you do the rest by yourself. And I'm definitely going to put my name at the top so that I get credit for what I have done. All right. Good luck on the rest.